Speaking to me. Thanks for speaking to our publication. Big honor for me. I want to ask you first things first. How are you?
Firstly, thank you for having me. It's always a privilege and an honor to speak to you guys. But I'm good, man. I'm good. In life you always have your issues, but in essence, overall you're good. So I'm good.
You're good. I'm glad to hear. So the reason we're obviously here is because Under Armour, we want to speak about it. We want to speak about athlete wellness, injury prevention.
Yeah. As I can see you.
Yeah. I'm clearly not living up to it. But I want to ask you, in layman's terms, for someone who's not in the professional scene like you, how important are your tools that you use on a daily basis? I can imagine a builder is nothing without his tools, a plumber, electrician. For you as a footballer, same thing. How important are your tools for you on a day-to-day basis?
No, I think it's essential when you look at it, because for us as a footballer, when you go onto the field, you're looking for something that's comfortable. You want to be as comfortable as possible. You don't want to, when you go there, say, my boots is giving me blisters. My second skin is pinching because then you're not going to be able to perform at your peak performance. And I think that's something that Under Armour has mastered in that department, where when it comes to gear, whether it's heat gear, whatever, it is so good and so comfortable, It even keeps you dry when you're sweating. So that's good, that makes you as a footballer or as an athlete to be like, okay, I don't need to worry about my apparel off the field because I know I'll be able to perform at my peak performance.
And is there a relationship between it? So when your apparel is sorted, does that then half take care of the performance? Because now you don't have to stress about, like you're saying, getting blisters, maybe getting burned because your skin is does it work hand in hand? Does it go?
Of course, because if something bothers you mentally, it's going to take away your focus from other things. So when that is sorted, you can only focus on your job that you need to do, and you don't have other things distracting you from outside, or those small things that seem small, they might have a big impact. Whether it's when you go in for a tackle, you're thinking, if I'm going to move like this, my ankle is going to do this because my boots are not up to standard, So that's something I think the brand has mastered, whereas they make sure that you are as comfortable as possible, and everything else, you just take care of that.
Absolutely. And I would ask you, what specific features of the gear that you use is the ones that you find most beneficial during games, during your training?
I think for me, obviously the boots, because I wear the boots quite often. I've worn multiple of them, different designs, and I've been happy with all of them. Obviously, they're all quite comfortable. I've never had an issue where, I have to put the boot on for the first time and I'm like, my toes are hurting or anything like that. I can just get in them and go. And then obviously the heat gear, because in summer, you need to have something that's gonna keep you cool as well. Short sleeve underneath as a base layer. In winter as well, also during summer we wear the long tights, also so that it protects you from the sun and all those things. So that's actually essential, I would say, part of my daily apparel.
Absolutely. And how does it compare? Like you're saying, you've been wearing different lines of Under Armour, different, I suppose, editions. How does it compare to what you've used in the past? Does this give you an extra boost? Is there something different that you have picked up where you can say that in the past I've used X, Y, and Z, now using this, and this is what this does for
I think when it comes to the Under Armour boots, like especially like the Clone 2.0, you know, those are boots that it's almost like it was made for you. I don't know if you can relate to that in a sense where something when you fit it on, you're like, this thing, it's so comfortable. It's like it was made for me, and that's the sense of comfortability that the Under Armour boots has given me as an athlete, as a professional footballer. So I've never had issues with that.
Absolutely. And you find yourself in a very competitive environment where every day your performances in training needs to be top notch. Your performances in games when you do get the opportunity needs to be right up there. Does your current gear help you with that? Do you go into every training session, every match feeling that already I have the advantage or I can perform to the best of my abilities?
Of course, I think Under Armour has always been innovative and leading in that aspect when it comes to gear, you know, because also the ethos of the Under Armour athletes, they lead in that, you know, having that resilience, the ambition, you know, the will to keep on going. So I think when it comes to that, Under Armour's athletes always embodied that, and they share the same ethos as the athletes and the brand itself. So it's easy to correlate with one another. So it's not like, you know, the message that's being put across, it's two different kinds of things. So that resilience and that consistency always needs to be there.
I mean, you currently in the process of getting back from an injury, the off-field gear, because I can imagine you in the gym a bit more, you're doing a bit more stuff off the field. How's that helping you? How important is that for you?
Let me tell you, so, you know, on a day-to-day basis, because of the injury that I had to do an operation on my ankle. So, you know, weight bearing can be a bit tricky. So having shoes that's very comfortable, whether it's almost like walking on clouds, it's so comfortable for me, because then I don't have to have issues about, after 30 minutes I can't wear these shoes anymore because my feet are hurting or things like that. Also it takes away some pressure, you know, because of that foam, you know. So for me it has made my recovery process a lot easier and a lot smoother.
Absolutely. And is there a time where you look back at it and you say that wearing the right gear has helped you, like in a specific game, with your performance, where you can say that? So I'll give you an example. I spoke to one of your teammates, right? And he had an embarrassing moment on the field where he was dribbled and he fell on his face and he went viral because of that. But he said in that moment he was wearing the wrong boots. He wasn't wearing a 6-star, he was wearing a multi-star. But it had consequences. Do you have an instance where having the right gear helped you?
I would say, because usually I take the precautions to always check the pitch and stuff to know which boots or whatever to wear. But I would say that whether it's me wearing a 6-pin or just normal multi-studs, you know, the boot itself that Under Armour has provided me with, it's so comfortable. Even with the multi-studs, there's an extra, I don't know if you've seen it, there's an extra stud at the back with some of the boots to give you that extra support. So I wouldn't have to be like, and that's another thing when it comes to that, when I speak about having to worry about, I'm gonna slip, because that's also now part of taking away the concentration. So now if that extra stud is there for support and to add more balance, then I don't have to worry about that. Then I can go into the tackle or whatever, knowing that I've got that backing me as extra support, you know. So that makes it easier.
And I think a large part of football is the psychological aspect, where you're competing with internationals, you're competing with top players who play at a high level. You obviously have a team where the best players in the country are. Does looking good on and off the field give you that psychological boost, give you that confidence boost that you need just for your day-to-day?
Of course, you know, they say if you look good, you feel good, and if you feel good, you do good. So to be able to be backed by a brand like this, to make sure that I always look good, so that means I can feel good. And when I feel good, I'm confident. And I think that's something that Under Armour shares with its athletes as well. They ensure that we always look the part and we feel like we are confident enough also to go out there and represent the brand. So for us as athletes to be able to be backed by a brand like this and share the same ethos as the brand, to be that embodiment of leading and be pioneers in certain fields, it's magnificent.
What comes to mind when you hear the words protect this house?
You know, so when we did the campaign, you know, so for me when I hear protect this house, first thing, family. So that, what does that tell you? We as Under Armour, we are family. So if you say protect this house, that means all of us, whether it's from the offices to retail to athletes to whoever, you know, we are one family. We are a part of one house. We embody the same ethos. So that's what protect this house means. We need to protect what's ours.
Absolutely, absolutely. And maybe if you can give us some tips or some tricks. Absolutely, absolutely. And maybe if you can give us some tips or some tricks, what works for you during the summer? We know that we're in the heart of summer at the moment. You spoke about remaining cool. What works for you? What is your go-to when you say that on the field, off the field, in training, this is what works for me, this is how I ensure that I stay as cool as possible, as comfortable as possible, and looking as good as possible?
I think obviously, you know, when it comes to the off the field stuff and the summer, you say, you obviously have your summer gear, your shorts, your short sleeves, you know, and all of that. But most of all, just also rest. I think also resting is part of that. Whether it's also wearing compressions, because that's also part of recovery, you know, for us as footballers. Because that is that compression for the skin to make sure that the muscles get the right blood circulation to help recovery. So it's a lot of things that goes with it. Fluids, very essential. So those are small things, but it makes a big impact.
And what do you say to a young Kegan Johannes who's maybe back in Cape Town or wherever the case may be, on the importance of investing in high quality gear? I don't think we speak about it enough, where guys just get stuff to get by, but how important is having high quality gear, especially if you're aspiring to achieve, to go on and do something big?
Yeah, I think it's very important, and I think that's something that, like I said before, Under Armour has achieved and has pioneered in for so many years. Having that high quality gear, you know, making sure that we as athletes we feel and just look the part, you know. So for me, I think it's essential, and because, like I said before as well, it's the small things that matter, and they say small makes a big difference. So for me, that's an integral part of your everyday life. Because in order to be the best, you need to feel and look the best, and that's something that Under Armour makes sure of.
And then just lastly from my side, what are you most excited about when it comes to your partnership with Under Armour? You look good, doing good, signed a big deal at a big club. You knock on the national team door from time to time. What are you most excited about when it comes to all of this?
I think for me personally, it's also the family that we have. Under Armour gives us the opportunity to mingle with so many people from different aspects, from rugby, whether it's rugby players, you know, and as one family. We get together, and that's something we build on. Like you said, protect this house. We family at the end of the day, and that's something that I look forward to, you know, building that relationship with each and everyone. Because, you know, in life you need that kind of relationships as well. So that's something Under Armour makes sure of, whether it's campaigns that they do for us to just meet the athletes as well. So I'm quite happy with that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for
Keep
having me.
protecting this house.
Yeah, protect this house. I appreciate it.
Super. Thank you. Are you guys happy?